Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon everyone. This is just a response to Dr. Um, Oakley, I believe his name is. I did see you in California when you were debating Sheikh Jalal Abarub, and I'm kind of, how would I say, um, some of the things that you were saying, that debate they're saying right now, this whole convert syndrome that you're talking about, I have a problem with that. I'm a convert or revert to Islam. I was Christian before. Um, and a lot of Muslims use the same thing when, for example, Muslims convert to Christianity and Christians do the same thing. So I don't think it's a good argument. Basically, you say, well, this guy, what does he know? He didn't do a thorough study of Islam, for example, or he didn't do a thorough study of Christianity. So if he left, if he was, for whatever reason, that doesn't matter because he didn't do a thorough study. He's not as qualified as Dr. Oakley is, for example, or as Sheikh Jalal is, or if anyone else. And I remember even in California, I think it was the other debater that said, like people pulled the Muhammad Ali, oh look, Islam is a truth because Muhammad Ali embraced Islam. No one does that. No one pulls that out. And if they do, that's just wrong. I mean, they need to reevaluate why they're Muslim, or you can't be Muslim because Muhammad Ali is a Muslim, or anyone else for that matter. So I suggest that, for the viewers who kind of rely and blindly close their eyes and say, oh, Dr. Oakley is so qualified. He can read Greek and, pronounce certain, sentences from the old Kodiaks, from the Greeks and from the Greek writings of the Old New Testament, and some Hebrew, or Sheikh Jalal, he can, speak such a good Arabic and just quote Arabic, I'm trying to be fair to both sides. It's not like that. I don't think people left Christianity, for example, because Joshua Evans embraced Islam, or because so many converts coming to Islam. If you actually sit down and talk to most Muslims who became Christians, you will find certain reasons that roam around the fact that you were kind of talking about, that we deny the deity of Jesus. He's not God. Why he's not God? I mean, that's a long discussion that, you went through with Jalal, you went through with Dr. Jamal Badwi, you went through with so many people probably by now, and it's as simple as that. You call people to monotheism, and it's something that you claim, yet you cannot prove it, right? It's a concept that is just based on blind faith. There's no reasoning behind it. The proof is very, based on, how would I say, the proof is, I don't even know how to define it. There's really not too much proof. Now, of course, you go and say, wow, look, just Jibril K doesn't know what he's talking about. Let me prove for you from John. Let me quote from you from the letters of Paul, and so on and so forth. If anyone is sincere and can go and look into these proofs to see that there's really nothing there, and don't believe me, go look. That's the whole point. That's I think what Islam calls for, is that, hey, remove your hands from in front of your eyes. Stop, just relying upon your scholars, or oh my God, this guy, he knows how to read Greek. Let me, I'm good. Or this, it's the same for the Muslims. Oh, Muhammad Ali is Muslim. Oh, I'm so good. Oh, or Ribéry, the French soccer player, embraced Islam. Oh, Islam must be a truth. Get off your rears. Pick the Quran. Pick the Bible. Read it. Compare them. Look at the historical based evidence. See which one. Pray to God. Go make a prayer. Put your head on the ground. Whatever. Pray a sincere prayer to the one true God, and tell him to show you which one it is. All this mambo jumbo, this so-called, this self righteousness, or how would I put it? Scholarship. Oh, I'm so qualified. I'm so qualified. People need to seek the truth for themselves. Go and see if there's any justification, okay, rationally, that Jesus is God. A lot of Muslims fall into that they want to prove from the Bible that Jesus is God. So of course, the Bible was written by Christians. It was from Christian doctrine. So of course, people have tried to, and you would expect that it teaches certain doctrines that revolve around that concept, right? So the Muslims fall into that trap. Don't do that, right? It's simple. The contradiction is Christians call to a unity of God, to a oneness of God. Yet it is a Trinity. Trinity, triune. Now for the proofs in the Bible, for that Trinity, which is supposed to be unity or oneness of God, you will find that there's a hierarchy. Okay, the 3 in 1 does not apply. The certain definitions and comparisons that Christians have gave up now and just said, well, it's just a mystery. We don't know. You can't understand fully God. But for hundreds of years, they tried to compare it to a clover leaf, to the egg and the yolk and so on, and to the ice and water recently and vapor, and all kinds of these silly. How can you compare God to a clover leaf or to ice and water? So, the concept is very simple: one God, or triune God. Three. Okay, no matter what you want to do, you cannot superimpose them. There's a hierarchy. Okay, the Father is higher than the Son, right? And they'll say, oh, it's just higher as in height. He's in heaven, right? As Sam Shamoun was putting it. Well, if you actually try to go and see what that means in the language of the Bible, right? Jesus says that the Master is higher. Okay, is higher than his servant. And then it says, they hate me and persecute me, they'll persecute you. It's the same type of word. If I'm wrong, please show me. Maybe I don't understand. Hey, I'm always open to people showing me that I'm wrong. My concept for why I reject Christianity and why Islam rejects Christianity, it's this whole point. That's why it starts with La ilaha. It's a negation. There's no God except the one true creator, the one who created Jesus, who supposedly, according to the Bible, begotten Jesus. God cannot be begotten. That's the whole point. That's what the Jews believed. That's what people believed for thousands of years. And all of a sudden comes this knowledge, this Christianity, okay, which it was invented. Okay, even the term Christianity did not exist. Okay, at the time of Jesus. And all of a sudden, this triune God comes to be about. The Jews never believed in such a thing. The Muslims definitely never believed in such a thing. There was different pagans who believed in such things. The Hindus have a trinity, and many other different ancient sects. I'm not saying it was, I don't believe in that mambo jumbo with, Christianity comes from the pagan, Egyptians. I never really checked too much on that. I'm not exactly sure, so I'm not going to speak on it. But there is a pagan concept of the, pluralism of God. Okay, and even in philosophy, the plurality of God, there's dualism and so on and so forth. And these are some things that have been running. But opposite to that, contrasting that, is the pure unity of God. Everything is from Him. Everything is to Him. There is no intermediate, no one in between. That love and relationship is directly in Islam and to God. And Islam is submission to the one and only Creator. And that is the beautiful thing about Islam. You go to God. So go to God. Ask Him. Go read. Go pray. Don't just believe me or Dr. Oakley or people who speak fancy and quote and so on and so forth. Go find out for yourself. Assalamu alaikum.